Welcome to all of you in this special class of Operation Research, which will be focused on introduction, techniques, and methodology of Operation Research. So, you're also welcome in the second semester of MCOM. I hope you must have done well in your first semester while appearing in your examinations, and we expect that same you will continue in the second semester also. So the very important topic or very important paper which we are going to discuss in this class today of operation research, because this paper is very important from the managerial decision making point of view, uh, because you have already studied this subject at the graduation level. Many of the techniques has already been discussed at your graduation level, and at post graduation level we will be discussing such techniques in detail, and try to analyze those techniques in a very sophisticated manner from the level of post graduation. So today we are just going to introduce the this concept of operation research. Basically, what operation research is, this subject has been named differently by the different countries according to their use. Some countries says this is a decision science, some people says that this is a management science, some people says that this is operation research, some people says that it's a operational research, or some says that it is a control science. So there are various names which has been given by the various propounders of various techniques of the operation research. So according to their usage, these names have been suggested for this kind of paper. So, because you have already studied at graduation level the concept of operation research, I don't think you will face any problem in understanding the various issues regarding the operation research. So, as far as operation research is concerned, if we generally discuss it from the layman point of view, it may be simply viewed as systematic and analytical approach to decision making, because for taking the decisions at the various level we need some kind of information, and that whatever is available in our hand, that is basically a data. Unless and until we convert that data into information and that information support the decision science, we are unable to take the decisions at the various levels of the management. That's why it is also called management science. It is a systematic approach, because every technique of operation research, which we will be studying in operation research, that will be following a iterative process. Iterative here means step by step procedure we will be following. So that's why it is a systematic procedure or a systematic and analytical method. It is a operation research is basically a collection of analytical tools which helps us to convert the data into information, so that on the basis of that we can take decisions. So therefore it is also called decision support science. Now let's come to the main issues which we are to discuss today in the operation research. So as far as the operation research is concerned, it is basically a decision science, it is a control science, it is a systematical approach, and in different countries it is termed, in USA, Canada, Africa, Australia, it is termed as operational research. Some says it is an operation research, some says it is an operational research. So while discussing the concept of the operation research, we must know how this concept originated. What is the brief history of the operation research, or management science, or control science, or decision support science? So basically, if we look back in the history, there is no clear history that marks the birth of the operation research. Because we can say that as the human being takes birth on this earth, he is encountered with some kind of problems, and after that, for solving such kind of problems, he take the help of various kinds of tools, and that may be analytical tool, that may be scientific tool, but that was not documented earlier. So there is no clear history that marks the birth of the operation research. It is generally accepted that This field originated in England during the World War II, because in war, because basic purpose of when we are encountered with the war, that is the basic objective is how to win the war without fighting it. So we adopt certain kind of strategies, and for adopting certain kind of strategies, we need some kind of data that needs to be converted into information, and on the basis of that you prepare certain strategies, and best strategies is find out. So basically it is said that this concept of operation research was documented and got popularity during the World War II. Some people say that Charles Babbage during the 1791 to 1871, that is known as the father of the operation research, he propounded this subject because his research into the cost of transportation and sorting out may led to England University's pennies cost in 1840. So as far as modern operation research is concerned, it is originated at the Baudsey Research Station in UK in 1937 to analyze and improve the working of UK's early warning radar system. So that is again connected with the war. So during the Second World War, about 1,000 men and women were engaged to work for British Army. So after World War II, military operations in UK became operational analysis with the UK Ministry of Defence and expanded various techniques and graving awareness. So basically the operational research or the operation research gained momentum during the World War II, and whatever is documented about the techniques of the operation research, about the tools of the operation research, they are all documented after the World War II. So, and operation research is also designated as a decision making science. Some people say that earlier the theories which are found in support of the techniques of the operation research, they have documented as decision making science. So, operation research is an analytical, logical, and systematic method of problem solving and decision making that is helpful in management of the organization. So OR is basically a systematic method. When we say systematic method, it means it is properly planned and properly documented in a sequence of various operations, a sequence of various steps. And secondly, it is going to solve our problem, because in every situation in our life we know that we have limited resources. Resources are limited, and our problem is to allocate the resources into different uses. For example, if you have a milk in your home, you are getting 2 kg milk per day on the basis of the demand of your family members. Now 2 kg milk has to be used for different purpose. Some part of the milk is used for drinking of the milk. Some part of the milk is used for having curd. Some is called for making paneer. Is used for making certain kind of other dishes. Now it is up to the person who is dealing with the kitchen that how to utilize this particular 2 kg milk in an efficient manner, so that optimum utilization of that milk can be ensured, because you have limited availability of the milk, because your financial resources do not allow you to buy more milk more than 2 kg. So therefore it is basically the operation research is concerned with the analytical, logical, and systematic method of problem solving and decision making that is helpful in management of organization. The example which we have taken, that is belongs to our home, but similar example we can take for the management also. In management, for example, in a business organization, you have limited amount of raw material available. Now to utilize that raw material in an optimum manner, you have to allocate it at various products. For example, you are producing 3 products, X, Y, and Z. X is giving you different kinds of profitability, Y is giving you different kind of profitability, and Z is also giving you different kind of profitability. And now there is a limitation also that you can produce only limited number of X units, limited number of Y units, limited number of Z units. Now it's up to the production manager or the decision makers in the organization that they have to decide that how do you utilize this inventory, segregating and dividing into 3 products, so that we can achieve the maximum profits. So in operation research, basically problems are broken into different basic components and then solved in defined step by mathematical analysis, because we use the techniques of the mathematics for analyzing the problem and then solving and segregating into different segments. So operational research is basically a decision making science. The information or the results of the techniques of the operation research helps the manager to take various decisions. So operation research is regarded as a management science. Operation research is also considered as management science because sometimes many books, if you will find, they will be treating and defining these using these terms synonymously. So operation research refers to scientific methods, statistical method modeling, experiments, simulation, and optimization. We'll be using various techniques, and the proofs has been there. The various concepts of these mathematical modelings and experiments have been proved scientifically, and they are applied to the complex business problems. So therefore, it is also it is a management science. So, if you look at the earlier period of development of the operation research as a subject, you can find that many of the propounders of the subject of operation research or the various experts of the operation research has used these terms interchangeably or synonymously. They don't have any difference of these methods. So operation research is an analytical method of problem solving and decision making that is useful in the management of the organization. And secondly, in operation research, problems are broken into different components and then solved in step-by-step procedure by using the various mathematical tools. So if you have to define according to the viewpoint of different experts what the operation research is, so C.W. Churchman has defined this subject operation research in a very beautiful and systematic manner. And according to him, operation research is the application of scientific methods, techniques, and tools to problems. First, it means it is the application of the scientific method. Whatever the methodology or the step-by-step procedure or the iterative procedure which we'll be using for decision making or problem solving, that will be scientific. Whatever techniques and tools we'll be using, that will be scientific, and it will be involving the operation of a system so as to provide those in control of the system with optimum solution to the problem. The solution which we will be getting from the techniques tools of the operation research, that will be the optimum. That means if you have any other solution available, that will be giving lesser results than the solution which is given by the operation research. So operation research is basically application of the scientific methods, techniques, and tools to the various problems. The problem which is clearly defined, the problems which is defined with the allocation of the resources, problems which are defined with the constraints, problems with the defined which is defined to achieve a particular objective. That is the that solution or that help is given to that problem by the tools, methods, techniques of the operation research. So this is the definition given by the Churchman. Similarly, another very good definition which is given by P.H. Morse and G.E. Kimball. He says that operation research is a scientific method of providing executive department. Who are the executive departments? Executive departments are the departments which has to take decisions regarding the various problems or the various issues regarding the management. So operation research is a scientific method of providing executive departments with a quantitative basis for decision making regarding the operations under their control. So whatever operations are under the control of the executive departments, executive department means the department which has to execute and implement the top management decisions which has to be taken. So it is not there that operational research techniques are only used by the top management level to describe the various objectives, but it is also used by the shop floor level where they have to implement, where they have to take various decisions, where they need quantitative basis for decision making which are under their control. So P.H. Morse and G Kimball has also given the same kind of definition, that operation research is a basically used for providing the quantitative base for decision making in the organization. So then, if you look at the various features of on the basis of this definition, uh, there are various features of the operation research. First, this has a scientific system orientation. It works that first we define a particular problem in a system, we analyze everything, and only then we adopt a particular system to implement the decision. Secondly, the operation research is an interdisciplinary team approach. It is not there that a person from the commerce background is solely responsible for the development of this subject, or from the economics point of view, a person who is an expert in the economics can has developed the operation research. Basically, this is an interdisciplinary approach where engineering, where economic persons, where commerce people, or people from the various walks of the life has contributed a lot to arrive at the logical conclusions. So this subject follow a scientific approach, step by step nature. Every step which we follow is scientific, based on certain scientific reasons, and the whatever the solutions which are given by the operation research techniques, that is optimal, and if any other solution is available, that may be alternative solution, but will be either giving lesser results or will be giving the same results. So it is helpful in the decision making. And today, when we are in the information technology age, use of computer has eased the use of the operational search techniques for the organization. Earlier, whatever the techniques of operation research are available, maybe linear programming, maybe a transportation model, maybe assignment model, maybe PERT and CPM, maybe queuing theory, maybe replacement model, maybe non-linear programming. There were certain limitations that manually it is very difficult to make all the calculations, because then we say that only limited number of variables can be solved manually. But with the use of technology, computer science, now the softwares for various kinds of operational search techniques are available, and with the help of them we are even solving the problem issues with having large number of variables, and every solution which is given by the operational search technique is a quantitative solution which is available. So these are the some of the few features. If you look at the methodology of operation research, uh, first of all, we have a real system. The steps which are given in this diagram, which you can see, first we have the real system, the system in which we operate, a system in which we have certain scarce resources, a system in which we have certain problems, a system in which we have to take certain decisions. Now, from the real system, we have to identify a decision problem. So this is the first step which will be used in all the techniques and tools of the operation research. The first step will be, after analyzing the real system, we will go towards identification of the decision problem. First, we will find out what the problem a management or an organization is facing. On the basis of that problem has to be defined clearly. For example, at the outlook, it seems that we are not getting the high level of profitability because of the price level. It means that is at the outset we have defined the problem, but this problem, unless and until defined scientifically or defined in a systematic manner by following a step by step or iterative procedure, we will not arrive at a conclusion that which technique should be used to arrive at a conclusion for this kind of problem. So first issue or the first step in the methodology of operation research that we'll be following, that is identifying a decision problem. Second thing which is required is, once we have identified the problem areas has been defined, the various aspects regarding the problem has been defined. Secondly, we will be now finding out which is the best model of the operation research which can be used to arrive for such kind of solution of the problem. Which model can be given, can give a good decision or good solution to the particular problem. Now you must know that linear programming is a broad programming or control technique which is available in the operation search, and it is capable of solving all kinds of issues regarding the management issues, for where the scarcity of the resources is there, where constraints are there, where we have objectively is clearly defined. But when the large number of variables there, then we have a problem. So in order to solve such kind of issues, we have other models also. For example, transportation problem that can also be solved with the linear programming, but it solved in a better systematic manner. So we have to, after identification of the problem, we have to see which is the model, which model we can set up for solving our problem, and we have to fit in our problem into that model. Then we have to construct the mathematical model according to the available information available. For example, if you are going to solve the problem with the help of the linear programming, first of all, you have to define the objective function. Then you have to define the constraints. Then you have to define what are the non-negativity conditions or the conditions which are imposed under particular model. So constructing a mathematical model of the real problem which you have already identified is the next step, which we have to see. Then we have to find out, once you have reached to that issue, then you have to reach at the point of defining the statement methodology or the issue relating to that model. Once you do that, after that, testing the model within the real data, then you will test the data. For example, in the linear programming, first of all, we prepare a first simplex table, then you say whether the solution is optimal or not. If it is not optimal, then revising the solutions. In this way, this process will go on. So similarly, then we will be having establishing control over the solution. Whatever the solution we have achieved, we will be testing that solution, that whether that is within the boundaries of the limitations, within the boundaries of the conditions which are available in the problem or in the model which we are using. And after that, we got the solution, optimal solution, then we implement the solution. And again, after implement the solution, some situation may change, some conditions may change, then we again go to the real system and then again identify the decision problem. So this step will continue, these iterative steps. Why it is called iterative methodology? Because it is a step by step procedure. If you will not follow the step by step procedure, or even while using the techniques and tools of the operation research, if you don't follow the iterative methodology of various steps which are prescribed under various techniques of the operation research, you will not be able to get the right kind of solution. So as far as briefly we can outline the various kind of steps under the operation research or the methodology of the operation search. First we have the orientation, then we have problem definition, then you have data collection, then you have model formulation, then we get the solution and results, then interpretation and analysis of the results, and lastly we will be implementing and monitoring, and again we'll go to the real world to find the new solution. So let's come to the system orientation, the first step in detail. As far as the system orientation is concerned, what do you mean by the system orientation? System orientation means keeping a focus on the context and the external environment in which organization is operating, and attending the boundaries in place between different systems. So it is about maintaining balance between different environments. So first of all, whatever your problem is there, that we will be focusing on the context and environment in which the organization is operating. Suppose if you have a problem that your prices are rising and you are not reaping the profits as desired by you, it means you are not able to maximize your profits. Now keeping an eye on this context, we will evaluate the external environment, whether we are in a position to get the raw material at the lower cost. If it is not, then we have to change the strategy, that one product is giving lesser profit, another product is giving more profits. So we will switch over to the next kind of products which is giving you more profits. So in this context, we will be focusing on that and fitting in the model, maybe linear programming, and then finding out that which kind of product should be produced. And this will have a eye on the organizational operating environment as well as the environment external which is available, and with working within the boundaries of that, we will maintain a balance between different environments and achieve our objectives. This is one. Secondly, primary objective is to have clean picture of the relevant issues. So if you will not have system orientation, if you will not have focus on the context in which you are working and the external environment, and you are not in a position to clear cut define the boundaries in which you are operating, and you are not able to fill the gap between the external and internal environment to evaluate the information, you will not get a clean picture. So it involves the study of the various documents and literature that is relevant to the problem, so that problem can be properly defined. So first step in operation research is to have the system orientation, which helps you to define the problem clearly, to by searching the various document, by searching the various kind of literature, and by focusing on the context and the external environment in which the organization is operating. Then next step after this is problem definition. So objective is to have a clear definition of the problem in terms of scope and the results desired. Now our problem is to maximize the profit or to minimize the cost. Now this objective can be achieved by a layman by doing something which is absolutely not clear. So this objective has to be clearly defined in terms of problem statement is maximize the profit, or problem statement is minimize the cost, but you have to spell it out how this can be achieved, whether reducing the uh, prices of the raw material, whether increasing the price of the material, or allocating the material available, maybe labor, maybe raw material, all these judiciously using into different segments of the product so that you can achieve the maximized profits. So it includes statement of unambiguous objective. Your objective should be clearly defined. It should not be straightaway that our objective is to maximize the profit, but or to minimize the cost. So statement should be unambiguous. Secondly, specification of the factors that will affect the objective that needs to be defined. Factors affecting maybe raw material, maybe labor, or maybe time constraints available on the machines. So specification of the constraints on the action should also be defined. So second step is problem definition. So our problem here is to define the objectives clearly, define the constraints clearly, and define the conditions clearly so that we can fit in the model which we can use. Once you have system orientation, you have defined the problem, then our objective is to, our next step is to data collection. So objective is to translate the problem defined into a model that can be objectively defined. So every model, every techniques of the operation research has different kind of data requirement. For example, if you are using linear programming, your data will be what are the various what are the various kinds of variables are there. So if you have defined the variables, then what are the profit per unit available for the variable is there. Then you have to define, for example, you are producing with different kinds of products, then you have to find out what amount of raw material in kg or in grams that you are using. Similarly, what are the limitations? So all these data need to be collected according to the requirements of different kinds of the techniques. So data can be collected from various sources, but extracting useful information from these sources is often very difficult. Sometimes if the data which is provided by the agencies or the EU research is wrong, then you will not be able to get the desired results from the operational search technique. So it is very important that the data, which is maybe in the form of structural coefficients, which will be in the form of cost coefficients, or maybe in the form of profit coefficients, that should be clearly accurate data. Otherwise, whatever the data you will be providing to these techniques, they will be giving results accordingly. So therefore, data collection is a very, very important step and task in this. So once you have a clear system orientation, you have defined the problem, you have the data within your hand, then you fit in that data into the model which you are using. Model may be linear programming, model may be transportation model may be assignment problem, or model may be any other model which you are using according to the requirements of the institution. So a model may be defined as formally as a selective abstraction of reality which helps in working out the original system or getting the solution. So next step will be the model formulation. Once model is there, you have fit in the information into the model, then you will operate that model to get the results. So solution results will be find out the solution to the model and interpreting the solution. So arrive at solution to the variables and the objective function. So once you have arrived at the value of the variables, then you will find out the put in that information into your objective function and will get the desired results. For example, if you have an objective function in linear programming, maximize 5x1 plus 2x2. So if you have found out the value of x1 and x2, you will fit into that information into the objective function and will get the desired maximum profits. And then accordingly, you can implement that solution and get the desired results. Then after the results are there, then analysis and interpretation of the results is necessary, whether the model can adequately and reliably predict the behavior of the real system. Sometimes you have worked out the solution into the fit-in environment, but by the time you use that model, some kind of environment external to it may change. For example, the prices of the raw material come down, or the government policy may change down. Then you have to analyze whether the results which has been got by your model can adequately and reliably predict the behavior of the real system. If it is not, then you can change it now with the help of the technology. You can re-arrive at the new solution for that. So it involves testing the structural assumption of the model, because every model, maybe linear programming, maybe transportation model or assignment model, or maybe PERT and CPM, queuing model, replacement model, simulation, all these have certain kind of assumptions. If there is change in such kind of assumptions, then you again need to again reframe the solution, because again we have to go to the real world, and by going to the real world you have to change. So this is a step which is a continuous process which will work. Then once you are arrived at a solution, then the next part is implement and monitoring of the solution. So implementing of the solution is often more difficult, as does not assure that the solution obtained would automatically be implemented, because the condition under which the model has operated, the condition under which the model has got the desired results may change. So if there is a change in the conditions, definitely in the real world, when you implement it, they may not give the desired results. But now with the help of technology, we can re-arrive at the new solution. So the impact of the decision may affect various segments of the organization, which needs proper monitoring the various changes and taking suitable measures. So accordingly, again and again, you have to go to the real world to find out whether there is some kind of structural change in the model required or not, and accordingly you will monitor it and make changes accordingly. So these are, again, I am just putting you before you. The first step is orientation. Whatever technique we will use, we will go for the system orientation, clearly define the problem definition, then data collection. Then on the basis of data collection, the model formulation is there, then model solution is arrived at, validation and output analysis, and lastly implementing and monitoring the data. But in every situation, you have to go for the feedback, so that in every step, wherever there is a change, you immediately change it, because with the help of the technology, now you are in a position to do that. Now, now we move to the uses of the operation search. You have already studied it at the graduation level, that for what purpose the techniques of operation research are used. So we'll be focusing on some of the techniques. The operation research is helpful in finance, budgeting, and investment decision. For example, if you have to make a cash flow analysis, then you can simulate for the future period. You can take capital budgeting decision like a replacement model, long range capital requirement, investment portfolios, dividend policies. So all these decisions can be taken with the help of the operations research in finance, budgeting, and investment. Similarly, while purchasing the item, while procuring and exploration, while determining the quantity and timing of the purchase of raw material, machinery, while determining the rules for buying and supplies under various policies, while deciding about the bidding policies, while equipment replacement policies, strategies for exploration and exploitation of the new market resources with the help of linear programming, we can use these operation research techniques. Similarly, the operation research is helpful in the production management, in project planning, for example, location and size of the various warehouses with the help of the transportation model, distribution centers, retail outlet, assignment model can be used, distribution policy, transportation and assignment model both can be used. For manufacturing and facility planning, product scheduling and sequencing model is there. Project scheduling and allocation of resources, PERT and CPM is there. Selection and location of factories, transportation model is there. Maintenance of crew sizes. So here we can use the various models which are used in the operation search. Similarly, for marketing management, product selection, timing, competitive actions, advertising strategies, and choice of different media of advertisement, number of salesmen, assignment model, frequency of calling of accounts, effectiveness of the market research, size of the stock, inventory models you can use. So there are a number of models which are helpful in the marketing management. Similarly, in the personal management, recruitment policies, replacement model, replacement of human being is also possible. Assignment of jobs, assignment model we can use. Selection of suitable person with due consideration for age and skills. So here again, the replacement of human resource replacement model can be used. Establishing equitable bonus system. So here you can use the linear programming to arrive at which system is helpful to us. There are various techniques which are used in the operation search, and we will be focusing on all these six, seven techniques. One will be focusing on linear programming. Secondly, we'll be focusing on a transportation model. Third, we'll be focusing on assignment model. Fourth, queuing model, game theory, network methods, inventory models. So as far as the linear programming is concerned, linear programming is a technique of operation research which helps to arrive at logical conclusion when you have to deal with the variables which are linear to each other. That means proportional to each other. Here we have the objective function, we have the constraints, we have the non-negativity conditions, and operating in such environment, we have a model of the linear programming in which we can use the graphic method, we can use the simplex method, we can use the big M method, we can use the two-phase simplex method, and you can use the dual simplex method as well as the duality of the problem. So by using the various concepts of the linear programming, we are arrive at a various conclusions. So here clearly defined objective function is there, clearly defined constraints which are in the form of equations, but they are not non-linear, they are linear to each other. So similarly, for taking decisions regarding that which warehouse should provide the product to the market, from where the goods should be transported from one warehouse to one market or one factory to one market. So that kind of decisions are taken in under the transportation model. So when you have to take decision regarding the placement of men and women on various jobs, we can have the assignment model. So the decisions where we have the queuing issues or the waiting line issues, for example, in case of railways, in case of cinema halls, it is seen that there are long queues in front of the windows to buy the tickets, but sometimes because of the behavior of the person who is going to get the service. They may not get the service, or they may try to change the service provider. So in such kind of situation, the waiting line or the queuing time or the waiting time in a queue should be reduced so that the customers are not harassed. We can use the queuing models for that. Similarly, there are a number of situations in our life that every situation, the business is also a game where we have to play with the different kind of player. For example, we have the competitors outside our business or even competitors within your business. So when you have to take decisions, you have to play various kind of strategies to win over the game. So in that case, we have the different situations which are analyzed with the help of the game theory. Then we have the next kind of technique, which is known as PERT and CPM, that is program evaluation and review techniques, or critical path method, which are also known as a network method. So under the network methods also, first we will have a project, then we will split that project into different events and activities. Then you will prepare a network diagram. We will find out which is the starting point, which is the ending point, what are the different kinds of activities which are performed to arrive at different projects. So similarly, there may be certain predecessor activities, there may be certain successor activities which are performed. We, on the basis of that, we will prepare a network. Then we'll be finding out the activity time. There are different types of time: pessimistic time, optimistic time, most likely time. On the basis of that, we will find out the activity time, and then we will schedule the project. At what point the project will be ended, what is the critical path for finishing that project. So this will be done under the network methodologies. So similarly, then you have inventory model. In inventory model, you have to procure the material, at what time you have to purchase, at in what quantity you have to purchase. So economic order quantity is there, reorder level is there, minimum level is there, maximum level is there. Or there are certain techniques of controlling the inventory in your organization. For example, VED analysis, vital, essential, desirable is there, ABC control system is there, HSN system is there. So there are a number of techniques of the inventory models which we will be discussing during this course of study of operation research in the MCOM second year or second semester. So from all the above areas of application, one may conclude that operation research can widely be used in taking timely management decisions and also used as a corrective measure. So as far as operation research is concerned, it is also considered as a management science. It is also considered as a scientific management science. It is decision support science also. It is also called operational research. Basic purpose of operational research technique is to provide management a sound scientific decision support system so that they can take the decision and optimize the results of their organization. So this was just an introduction of the operation research, what we are going to study in the subject of operation research, what methodology we are going to use for operation research, and similarly we'll be focusing on how the operation research techniques are helpful in taking various functional areas of the management so that we can provide an efficient decision support system for an organization. Now all of you can on your screens so that we can take certain question which may be relevant to you. On your screen, all of you. So I'll be taking attendance at the last. So if anybody is going to leave, then definitely that will not be marked as present. So the roll number which will be appearing at the last will be considered as present. So we'll be starting from Jasmeet. Yes, Jasmeet, anything you want to add or anything you want to ask?
No, sir, everything is clear.
Absolutely clear. Chalo, very good. You want to add
Yes, sir.
something which I may have skipped?
No, sir.
Okay. Then Swati Rajput 5820.
Yes, sir.
You want to add something?
No, sir. Everything
No.
clear.
If I ask you one question, Can you name, because this subject has been studied by all of you at the graduation level. Can you name one or two companies in India which are using the operation research techniques widely? This question is to for all. Any person who can answer this question, that whether there is any company in India which is using the operation search. It means whatever has been studied at the graduation level, that is out of mind now. So there are a number of companies in India which are using the operation search technique. For example, Tata is there, Telco is there, DCM, which was earlier there. These are the certain companies, Calico, Binny's. These are various companies which are widely using the operational search techniques for decision making. Some people say, many of the students ask these questions, raise these questions, sir हम पढ़ तो रहे हैं ये subject, whether it is actually used in the decision making of the various organization. Even in Ludhiana there are certain companies, when they have to arrive at certain decisions, they use the softwares of these techniques. Even in the inventory model, if you, when you will go for training part of your MCOM in the second semester, you will see that these are actually used in taking various decisions like working capital management, inventory management, and PERT CPM is widely used for preparing the network of achieving the project. So that is there. So next question to Harvinder Kaur. Yes, Harvinder, anything you want to add or anything you want to ask?
No, sir, everything is clear.
Absolutely clear. So today we end with all this, because this was just an introduction chapter or introduction to operation research, so that we can define the operation research in a systematic manner. One must know that what we are going to study in this subject. So there now we'll be meeting. Now tomorrow we'll not be having any class. That's why I have taken your class today. After that, we have two vacations. So straightway we'll be starting the first technique of operation research. I will just send you the WhatsApp message when we are going to have the class. So first technique, that is the linear programming, in two lectures we will be finishing the whole techniques, because you have already studied these techniques at the graduation level. So the new concept which need focus, that will be, we will be discussing with more elaborative manner. Otherwise, other techniques will be briefly discussed with you, but you have to make practice at your home. Thank you very much to all of
Thank you, sir.
you. Okay.